I think you can assume I'm having a bad week.
Yeah, it sounds like a cabbage. And we're live.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mad Dodge Productions. I am the Mad Libertarian. I'm here with the usual panel. Wolf Shot, tell them how you're gonna fuck shit up this week.
I like to fuck shit up. I mean, I don't know, man. I might get kicked for having a 15-year-old on my fucking stream. I don't know, man. Fucking idiot.
I'm not 15.
You have a 15-year-old on your cock.
What, are you 16 and a half, Benny? That
No.
half really counts.
Motherfucker, I'm gonna be 20 next month. Fuck
I was
you.
about to say, he's 20. I don't understand people having minors on their YouTubes. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, minors are iffy.
I know, isn't that like a breach of terms for YouTube or something to have minors like
Depending on
content or
depending
something?
on the
Cocksucking bullshit.
Well, it all depends on what you're talking about. Then that's where like it comes in. So
whatever.
You're a puppy.
I'm fucking almost 30.
No,
My
you're
birthday's in
you,
October.
Benny. I said Benny's a puppy. Yeah, you're you know, you're
An old ass bitch.
Prime. You're in your prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't for cabbage, I'd be the oldest one here at 32. I'll be 33 in November. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How you doing, Grandpa?
I don't have to be the old guy.
Yeah, thanks for making me feel special.
Oh, just wait. If it shows up, I think he bumps you down the list, right?
MC, yeah.
Yeah.
Only by a couple of years, though. It's a thin margin, but yeah, at least I can feel better about myself.
If you say MC's name 3 times, he'll appear.
No, if you say Trump's a Nazi 3 times, he'll appear.
Oh, yes. It's true. Trump's a Nazi, Trump's a Nazi, Trump's a Nazi. Come on, MC.
Now let me tell you something about the war.
Now let me tell you something about Nazis. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you about Korea.
Donald Trump is. Let me tell you.
I want to tell you about Vietnam.
Let me tell you about them damn chinks.
Let me tell you about them. Oh, sorry, Mad Dog. Your stream is demonetized. Gas the juice.
Did you say pass the juice?
I said gas the juice. No, gas the juice. Definitely gas the juice.
As you know, throw the Jew down the well.
Can't fuck
all dogs go to hell? That doesn't make any sense, Cabbage. I'm not understanding.
My subs, my money content. I don't know why y'all.
We're going to Auschwitz. We're going to Auschwitz.
A bit of Borat. It's always good.
What is that shit? What is that? What is that song in American History X? What is it?
Don't even. I know what.
Benny, do it. Benny, do it. I know you do it. You fuck.
Anyway,
make it happen, Benny.
All the mongrels too.
God
damn it!
Sing it loud and proud, mate.
All right. So the latest news of the day really is North Korea again, as always. I am going to do a video on it later, but Cabbage has an interesting theory. Go ahead, Cabbage.
Well, it's not theory. It's just, you know, they're claiming that this has happened. But like I said, Japan has the largest number of phones per populace. The idea that a missile would actually fly over the mainland and nobody would record it is fucking ridiculous. It's nonsense. You would see a vapor trail anyway. I mean, everyone's seen missiles launching, right, and firing. You always see the vapor trail. You know, in contrails, whatever you want to call them.
Chemtrails.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, chemtrails.
Tinfoil hat shit.
No. A contrail is actually what you get out of the back of a, you know, an engine.
Yeah.
I mean, a rocket's got a vapor trail, right? It's a vapor trail. So you can see it from a long way away. If a missile's launched, you can see the thing going off, right? So even if you didn't, I mean, and people would have known about it a long time before it arrived, you know, it was heading towards Japan. So people would have been getting tweets and stuff like that before it even got there. People would have been looking for it. And unless I see, you know, an image of it flying over Tokyo or something like that, I'm not buying the bullshit. This is like a yellow cake experience. Anyone for yellow cake?
It's just like a false flag type deal for you, Cabbage.
Well, no, it just sounds like bullshit. It's just that like they're just trying to stir up a problem.
I mean, it might be bullshit, but I mean, we're probably going to end up going to war with them regardless. So they got to make up a good excuse, right?
That's what I mean, exactly. The yellow cake. That's why I'm saying yellow cake.
Oh,
there's lots of layers in the yellow cake.
God, not the yellow cake uranium again.
Yes, exactly. See, it's the same bullshit,
God,
right? They have to say, "Oh, it went over Japan."
Definitely going to come on now and kick your ass about it.
Yellow cake.
Oh, excellent.
I love yellow cake.
Bring him on. I do. It's got, especially with a little bit of cream and a bit of lemon.
A little bit of Iraq, a little bit of Iran. Yellow cake.
Cabbage, though, from what I hear, is everybody in Japan got a text message saying, "Take cover. There's a missile incoming."
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything because, if a missile was launched from North Korea and it was heading, like I said, it could be 200 miles off the coast. The idea that it went over Japan doesn't mean, if it went over Japan, I bet you it didn't. I bet you it went over international waters, which is what, everybody does. Britain tests missiles and they do it over international waters. Well, America tests missiles in international waters because obviously you don't want to test them on land. We're going to end up getting involved
regardless, so it don't matter.
Well, Cabbage, if you got a random fucking text that just says, "Watch out, missiles incoming," aren't you gonna feel a little bit fucking scared?
I would if I was in Japan after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, yeah.
Fucking A, right?
You know what I mean?
Fucking A, right? I mean,
let me tell you why Japan needs a third bomb.
Let me tell you why Japan.
They have a real predisposition to bunkers.
Yeah, don't you wish that London had that back in World War II? The text message alerts, "Hey, you're getting fucking shelled." By the
way, we didn't need notifying. It was happening hour after hour after hour, and the Americans didn't turn up. They just watched it. And
oh my God, let it go, man.
Yeah, man. No, don't let that go.
Let it go.
Who needs
really
enemies
want MC on?
Who needs enemies when you got friends like you?
Hey, it wasn't me. It was MC. Okay?
Just be happy you guys had subways, or else you really.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up about whether we came in late.
Sucks.
Hey, you're the one who brought it up, you silly bitch. Don't moan about it.
I didn't bring up. No.
Yeah, when it goes pear-shaped.
I said the text messaging thing.
Yeah, but the Japan, but we didn't need text messages because you could actually hear the buzz bombs coming in. They actually announced themselves. That's why they were called buzz bombs.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Well, and those big giant sirens didn't hurt, right, Cabbage?
Absolutely not. It was just a brush.
No, that was Japan, I think.
No, that was the Stukas. That was the Stuka bombers. The Stukas actually had they had a fan underneath them that made that noise, so that when they dived, it was meant to intimidate the people. The same way, actually, in Vietnam, you guys use music, which was perfectly demonstrated with Apocalypse Now. Blare music out. Rock and roll music is you going into, which they used in Iraq as well.
Yeah.
I think they were blasting out sort of 9 Inch Nails or something on speakers while they were going into battle.
You want to know what really caused the bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Oh, God, what?
It was a dolphin and a whale.
It was a what?
It was a dolphin and a whale. Get it?
A dolphin and a whale.
A dolphin and a whale? Is that what you're fucking saying?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because that was a piss take. Yeah. It was like the idea of, in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You remember the missile that turned into a whale? Dropped. Oh. That's where it comes from. Yeah. The dolphin was the small one. The whale was the big one. Big boys, fat boy or little boy.
Fat man and little boy, yeah.
Yeah. So, dolphin and whale. But it comes from the idea of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy where they, the missile became a whale, and it tried to identify itself as it, plummeted towards the Earth. Wow. You haven't read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and he probably didn't know that either.
Wow.
Yeah, I've only seen the movie.
He brought up a topic he didn't even know about. But anyway, never mind. Live and learn.
All right. So,
yes.
What else happened today?
Yeah.
Oh,
Japan.
Well, okay, yeah. You want to go back to Japan? You got more to talk about there. What do you think the political outcome will be? Do you think Trump will act? And if he acts, how measured will it be?
I think Trump is being blooded. I mean, he's already in Afghanistan, hasn't he?
Yeah. We're raising the troop level in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So he's already doing that. Now he has to initiate a war. This is how presidents get blooded. You know, have you ever heard? You know the idea of blooding? You don't know that.
What, like tested under fire or whatever? You know?
No. Fox hunting. When a child is taken on its first fox hunt, right? When the fox gets killed, they take the blood and they smear it on the kid's face, and that's called a blooding. And that's yeah. So this is the sort of global equivalent of being blooded. You know, a world leader has to, has to get involved in a war of his own. Like Clinton had Yugoslavia, right? That was his blooding. Every president, every prime minister, every world leader has to have a war. Well, anyone that's of any significance, that is.
How about no? How about no war?
Well, that'd be nice, but then he wouldn't be a world leader, right? He's got to get blooded. No, he's falling into line. He's totally falling into line. He's becoming exactly the things that he said he wouldn't do. He said that he wouldn't increase war, that he said we shouldn't get involved in things, and he's doing exactly the opposite. I mean, he's becoming an exemplary leader of the Western world at the moment, isn't he? He's doing everything all the other ones have done.
And I think that's horrible. Like, really, I do. But this North Korea thing is being pushed upon him. Afghanistan, he's choosing to raise troop level.
Yeah, but Iraq was pushed upon. Well, no, Iraq wasn't really pushed upon Bush. He wanted that anyway because Daddy Bush was pissed because of the attempt on his life by Saddam Hussein. Although I still don't know. You know that they claimed that Bush Senior was, that Saddam Hussein tried to assassinate him. What is the evidence for that? I don't know. I don't know what that was. But anyway, so GW wanted to go to war with Iraq anyway. We already know that. He wanted a war. He already had that on the cards to begin with. Afghanistan was actually more of a distraction. The intention was Iraq. It was there from the beginning.
No. And if you really want to get MC in here, if he hears this, he should be here shortly. There was no weapons of mass destruction. That was a fairy tale made up to force us into war. Just like in the first Gulf War, they weren't throwing babies out of incubators, all right? That wasn't
That's right, yeah. In the same way, the Tora Bora Mountains were not fucking bored out, and they didn't have places where they could drive tanks into and things like that, So, they still haven't found them either, even though Donald Rumsfeld announced, spoke about them and explained them and even showed some artistic impressions of what they might look like if some delusional crazy decided that they might exist.
Yeah, I mean, just like there's been many other false flags that have happened. But if this is a false flag, I think they would have hit something, so I don't think it's a false flag. I think North Korea fired a missile and it went over the edge of Japan and went into their airspace. I do believe that happened today.
Well, it might have. I don't know. I mean, like I said, this is the thing. It's where they say it went over Japan, right? I think it probably went through international airspace, near Japan, and so big deal. So what? I mean, the thing is, don't get me wrong. It's not a good idea to let these people test missiles because even if they're incompetent, right? Most of their missiles fail. They've already proven that. But the point of testing missiles is so you can make one that works. You know what I mean? That's what R&D is all about. You test something, it fails, you make it better, therefore you can make it work. So you know, it's still disconcerting exercise. It's not making what it is that they want. You know, you know, what was the one underneath ICBM?
You were breaking up there real bad on my end. I don't know
Yeah,
if
they want missiles.
but it's still there. I thought they were supposed to stop the missile tests altogether because China told them to. So the fact that they're not doing that, it doesn't really matter where it flew, other than the fact it went towards Japan, and it was a provocative. You know, it was provoking Japan on purpose. What do you think, Benny? I think Cabbage might be having some mic issues.
No idea what's happening.
All right. So yeah, we're talking about the missile. Cabbage doesn't think it went over Japan. He thinks it went in international waters off the coast of Japan. I really think it doesn't matter either way, that it was provocative and might inch us closer to a war.
I just feel like it's I just think it's probably North Korea still trying to, like, you know, poke at us a little bit, like see what lengths we will go to just to end the scuffle between the States and North Korea.
Yeah, I don't know. I just China warned them not to do any more tests. I don't know if that was nuclear or just ICBM tests. Intercontinental ballistic missile, which is what they fired off today.
Right.
So if you miniaturize the atom bomb, it will go into the intercontinental ballistic missile. And then that's how you deliver the payload. So they're working on both programs simultaneously so they can put together a powerful missile.
Yeah, but don't forget that their most powerful missile is still smaller than Nagasaki. You see, people forget what the difference is in, I mean, the amount of nuclear warheads that are claimed that they have is less than America has in 2 missiles, or Britain has in 2 missiles. Right? Because warheads on, I mean, you know, most people think that a nuclear weapon is a single warhead. You know, like the tip of it is the bit that ends up blowing up. That's not how it works. Not with, you know, modern technology. What you actually have is multiple warheads which are in like a cluster, and they get released out, and so they, you know, like a cluster bomb. That's how they work. I mean, this is the thing. What Korea is currently working on is the equivalent of how do we get Fat Boy, you know, one Fat Boy missile, you know, the one that they dropped on Nagasaki. How do we get one of those to a location? This is not a sophisticated system. They can barely get the stuff off the ground. And that's not to say that you need to be complacent, but you'd have to look at it within context. And the missiles that they're testing at the moment, apart from the potential threat, if they were over a residential area or, you know, a shipping lane or something, the relative, you know, threat level is minimal. If they're flying over international waters anyway, it means nothing because, you know, everybody does it. At the end of the day, though, they shouldn't, you know, you've got to be worried about the fact they want to make missiles that they can fire at people. Because they are, you know, Kim Jong-un is definitely mentally enough to use something like that if he had to.
Well, I think he's proving that. I mean, just by conducting the tests after even China said, hey, man, stop. You know, unless they're saying that publicly and behind closed doors, they're like, keep it up. Let's provoke a war. That might be.
Yeah, but oddly enough, I mean, one of the reasons that he has, a good reason he has, a good motivator, is that the only countries that don't get fucked with, I mean, think about it, right? What is the reason that Pakistan doesn't get invaded by America? What is the reason?
They have nuclear weapons. That's why India doesn't invade Pakistan as well, because they both have nuclear weapons pointed at each other.
Precisely. So he has a major, reasoning and justification for following, for going down this line, because he knows that if he can do that, then he's pretty much secured his dominance, and the intrinsic nature of what North Korea is, right? North Korea will become a state in perpetuity. It will effectively just become like a separate country. It won't just be North Korea. You know what I mean? It really solidifies your existence. So it's it's an odd one, but like I said, Pakistan, I wouldn't say they were particularly trustworthy with nuclear weapons either, but nobody fucks with them. And they're full of Muslims. Let's not forget that. If you're worried about Muslims, that's the country you should be worried about, not India. India's sound. They've got Hindus and Sikhs. I mean, they may have their own problems, but they don't tend to be suicidal.
Well, one of their problems would be slavery, basically, right?
No, they don't actually. They do have a caste system, but then again, so does so does Pakistan. But there's not a lot of active slavery, I don't think, in India. All I'm aware of. It possibly happens. I don't know.
I heard that it was, but I don't have the source, so I won't comment further.
Yeah. So, I mean, it may happen, but it would be between families, and I don't think it would be state sanctioned. I don't think so. It does happen in the Middle East. There's still slavery in the Middle East. There's plenty of that.
But yeah, so I just this is one thing I would love if MC is in the chat. I haven't seen him, but dude, if you're in the chat, the link is in our hangout. Jump in, because I want to know what Trump's reaction to this is going to be. He keeps saying to knock it off or else. Well, sooner or later, or else becomes the action. What that would be.
Well, it would be a tactical strike, wouldn't it, on the means of production?
Therefore, it would be the armistice is over and we're back to the Korean conflict.
Well, actually, you'd be back to another. Well, sorry, it wasn't. What was it called originally? A police action or something?
Yeah, that's why it's called the Korean conflict. When they teach about it, it's not called a war. But
yeah, I thought it was a police action though, and I had never understood why the police came into it, because I don't remember seeing many policemen over there.
Yeah, haha.
Seriously, it's just like one of those weird things, because as a kid, when I was, I heard about it, it's like a police action. Well, you expect it to be like a bunch of people, like, the Rockford Files, or, the, I don't know, Cagney and Lacey. But there was none of that in the Korean War, as far as I could see. There was no Kojak.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know though. If it kicks back off, South Korea is going to get shelled to hell and back. We've covered that in separate streams. We already know how that's going to.
Get fucked to shit. Like I said, if you work out how many actual missiles America would have to launch to completely annihilate the whole of North Korea, based on the the yield and spread, because of like I said, the warheads have multiple. Well, so the missiles have multiple warheads. So if you're actually looking at spread, you'd annihilate the whole thing with probably. You could do it with half a dozen. How many nuclear weapons does America have? I mean, hell, Britain could do it on its own.
That's a good answer. Why don't you guys just handle it for us? We've handled a few conflicts lately. Why can't you guys just handle this one?
Yeah, it just means pressing a button. Fuck it, we'll do it. So the thing is, when we come in, we actually have to get on the ground and do something significant.
There you go. You heard it here first, guys, on the Redeye. Our ambassador of Great Britain just committed to take care of this one for us. We're good.
Absolutely.
Don't have to worry no more.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, we're just as willing to protect ourselves as you are. Seriously, It's such an insignificant threat, and that's what I mean. It's irrelevant. That's why this is a foe. I mean, sorry, this is a total POE, this whole thing. I don't know why they're distracting it. I mean, this is one that I think this is, again, one of these distractions, one of these creations. You know, I mean, it's a non-entity in real terms. I mean, if they want to get rid of Kim Jong-un's ability to, you know, to launch missiles and things, there are plenty of ways they can do it. But the idea that it, you know, and like I said, this idea that the missile went over the, you know, went over Japan. No, it went somewhere near Japan. I'd definitely, you know, I'd believe that.
Did you read the link I sent you though? That was from the
I did.
It went directly overhead. Like
that's right. That's what. Yeah, but that was from the what was it? The J something. Sorry, that was, yeah, and but basically it was information, but nobody had shown a picture of it flying overhead, right? They said they had a, you know, that they'd seen it flying overhead, but apparently nobody had the wherewithal to take a picture of it, right? That's when I see. That's when my heckles go up, is when these people make these claims. It's like, well, it flew overhead. It's like, really? Did you have a camera? No, damn it. It's like those people who, you know, claim they've seen an alien and they've never got a camera in their hand at the time. So, you know, you just got to believe them.
Well, come on now. If you were an alien, you would know not to show up when there was cameras. You're a fucking alien.
Well, there you go. I didn't know missiles were sentient though.
Oh shit. Have you seen Weird Science or whatever?
Oh yeah.
No, that's not the one.
Oh, you mean Real Genius?
I don't know, The Last Starfighter, maybe, where the computer takes over the freaking airplane. Come on, I digress. Anyway, the missile is not sentient, correct? But why would they just say it flew directly overhead instead of, like they've said a million other times, they fired it off into the water?
Well, because they want to create a panic. I mean, that's the whole point. Why invent yellow cake? I mean, you know, why say, you know, bunkers in, you know, in the Tora Bora Mountains? Why claim that the Iraqis had these mobile biological chemical factories that were being moved around on containers that never found? They were all just artists' impressions of what they might look like if they existed, right? Same thing with the Tora Bora Mountains. Yeah, why? Hello? I mean, have you not been watching the manipulation of the media over all of this period? I mean, why would they say, the reason that they said that it went over Japan is for one simple reason, because it makes for better, you know, better optics. It's like, oh, it's going to freak people out more. And like I said, it'd be better optics if they actually had a picture of the fucking thing doing it. You know, like you got some, if you imagine, you know, somebody taking a picture and you got the, you know, the Japanese temple, and you've got a vapor trail coming right over the top of it. You see, that I would believe, right?
All right. Well,
but just somebody saying that it happened doesn't mean shit.
We only have 3 people watching, but I bet you 3 people have wrenches. If you could find cell phone footage of the event or anything, post it in the chat, and I'll keep an eye on it. And yeah, so if you have anything, because I did search for cell phone footage, and I haven't found any yet. But that doesn't mean it's not out there. I did a 30-second YouTube search. That's it.
And don't forget, these people have been given a forewarning that it was coming, right? So think about it, right? You got the Japanese, the country with the most cell phones on the planet. They get a forewarning. So imagine how many people are sitting there with their cell phone waiting for it to happen so they could photograph it. Right? The idea that if this thing actually went over Japan, in any way, shape, or form, somebody at least got a picture of it, if not live cam. And if you can't find one of those, you know this is a yellow cake experience. So eat, have your cake and eat it. That's my point. That's what I said to you earlier, right? When this thing first came out, I said I will only believe it when I actually see some footage from Japan on the ground by somebody who actually, you know, an independent source, not, you know, like some potential media source or whatever. I want to see somebody's, you know, handheld device actually recording it.
Yeah,
the
and
only way I'm going to believe it.
They were saying it was only flying at like 2,400 kilometers in height.
There you go.
So that's pretty damn low, right?
No, 2,400 feet it would be, not kilometers. Kilometers is a lot bigger.
Sure. I don't remember, but yeah, it said it was significantly, it was a lot lower than the last test they had, which is at like.
Yeah, but like I said, even if it was at 30,000 feet, you see a vapor trail. You know, so it's at the end of the day, somebody would have been, you know, like, and plus they got advance notice of it happening, right? So people were looking for it. You know, they got told missiles are coming. You're not telling me that. I mean, if that was in Britain, everyone would have their phone out, you know, like ready to record the thing flying by. You tell me that Japanese wouldn't do the same? Of course they would. They're really treating us like morons, you know. I really feel kind of insulted. If this turns out to be bullshit, it's really insulting to the intelligence of the population. And the thing is, this comes out of the, what is it, the Joint Defense Committee or Joint, I don't know, whatever it's called. You know, and it's really basically just saying you're fucking morons and you'll believe whatever shit we you know, we just decide to tell you. It's just, I don't know. How little do people think of themselves?
Sorry to inconvenience you, Cap. It was just a suggestion if anybody had seen it already and had the link handy. No, sir, you are not my secretary. I would hire a redhead with big tits and a nice ass. But
so would I, actually. Not necessarily a redhead. I prefer brunettes, but yeah, chestnut. That'd be nice.
So yeah, I wouldn't hire you as my secretary, sir. I know that's sexist. Here we go. Demonetized. No.
Make sure she don't have them Squidward titties. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit, Eddie.
You don't, yeah.
Yeah, you've been silent for a while. Do you think it's a conspiracy like Cabbage, or do you think?
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying that these are people who are just grasping at shit, and they, you know, something happened, and they've just made it, you know, kind of ridiculous. You know, I mean, I'm sure there was a missile fired. I'm not denying there was a missile fired, but the way they're claiming that it went over the, you know, over Japan or whatever, I'm saying that that's bullshit.
And yeah, sorry about the 2,400 kilometers thing, Cap. I don't really know kilometers, and I skimmed over that article. I'm going to do a real video on it later, so I was going to read it in depth later.
Yeah, 2,400 feet.
My numbers are probably messed up, Cap, for sure. I didn't even really want to cover this topic, but Cabbage wanted to talk about it, so why not?
I didn't want to talk about it. You brought it up. I'm just happy to talk about it.
I don't doubt that they fired the missile. It's just, I feel like saying, well, how they tried to say it was like it was going to hit Japan. I just felt like that was sort of like a way just to amp it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because look, Korea, with their technology and nuclear weapons or whatever, they could be a lot more fucking precise. I feel like them trying to say it's just to stir the pot a little bit more.
But like I said, you know, it's still, you've got to be worried about the fact that, you know, Korea is intending to do this. But you can understand why that, you know, they want to do it. They've seen what America does to people who don't have nuclear weapons. So, but even if they did manage to get, and don't forget, these missiles that they're launching don't have nuclear warheads on them, right? They're duds. They're just test things. You know, they got concrete in the top of them that's meant to compensate and weight up for the equivalent of the warhead that would be on it. So they're not really actually missiles as such. You know, in terms of, you know, like an offensive weapon. They're a dumb weapon. So, and the idea that they would fire it over Japan, like I said, I don't know. I mean, Kim Jong-un, I do believe is, you know, kind of has suicidal tendencies, but at the end of the day, I don't think they are that crazy. That, especially at the point where he's at, where he's so close to actually making it viable with the tests that he's doing. Why would he be antagonizing? It doesn't, you know, even the guy, even that guy is, you know, even if you think he's as crazy as people make him out to be. And if it did go over Japan, it would probably be more by the fact that the missile fucked up and it's shit, because most of them don't work. I mean, half of them can barely get off the bloody launch pad in the first place, right? I mean, how many of them have, you know, destroyed themselves being launched? So they don't exactly have a great, you know, very high record of launch achievements. And then the missiles that do get in the air usually end up spinning out and burning up in the air anyway. So if it ended up over Japan, the chances are it wasn't actually intended to be there. You know what I mean? It probably just flew way off fucking course.
No, Cabbage, though, even as a libertarian, where I think they have the right to test weapons to defend themselves, it doesn't matter. That missile goes into United States airspace, we would have already fired on them, all right? We're giving them a benefit of the doubt because it went into Japanese airspace, not directly ours.
Okay, well, here's something then. You could have protected Japan because you currently have, what is it, the USS, whatever, sitting in that very region. You could have sent intercepting missiles to intercept the thing if you wanted to. If it was a real threat.
We should have, actually. That would have shown North Korea that we're not putting up with it. Just shoot them.
You see, that would have been a sensible move, absolutely. Yeah, that would have been sound. If America had, you know, like shot the thing down, that would have been quite cool. And then they'd have actually had some positive news for a fucking change.
Yeah, I think that's what they should have did. Now,
but like I said, but what I'm saying is that if that missile happened to go over Japan, I guarantee you it was more by failure than by judgment. I guarantee you that they had no intention of firing it over Japan because it doesn't make any sense. If it ended up over Japan, it was because the thing fucked up. You know what I mean? It just because their missiles don't work.
Yeah, but Cabbage,
they always malfunction. They're fucking, you know, the gyroscopes and shit don't work. So they end up all over the place.
We have a saying over here in America, man. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So I don't care if their missile messed up. The fact that it went over Japan is a problem.
Well, you know, fair enough. I mean, that's, you know, I don't have a problem. But the thing is, you know, this is, again, it's just another war. I don't understand. And the weird thing is that libertarians saying, basically, once again, I mean, how much money did it cost the American people for the Afghanistan war and the Iraq war? And you're willing to fund another one.
I'm not. I don't want a war.
Well, it's going to come out of taxpayers' money. No. It's what? It's not going to come out of your pocket?
No, Cabbage. I don't want a war.
Where do you think the money's going to come from?
I know. And then with that will also come a crackdown on freedom of speech, because how dare you protest the war online, on YouTube, or anywhere. Yeah. I know it will happen.
So where's your libertarian values now?
I'm not saying I want war, man. I'm just saying what's...
No, but you're saying that, hey, the principle is that, you know, that's it. Well, the whole, you know, the result of that is, hey, we're going to war, right? That's the consequence of what it is that you said. That, you know, ignorance is no defense of the law. So the missile went over there. So what are you concluding? That you have to have war. If you have to have war, then you're going down the Donald Trump route where he's getting blooded. So now you end up in a fucking war, and who's going to pay for it?
Cabbage, let me defend my position here for a second. All right, so let's say I'm in my yard and I'm firing off mortars, illegal fireworks, and I'm locking them off. And I live up in the woods, man. It was whole area on fire, and I started a wildfire. Don't you think something's going to happen to me? Now, what if I'm a country and I'm launching missiles over somebody's airspace and one messes up and hits a city?
Yes, but that's the whole point. If it hit a city, I'd agree with you, but it didn't hit a city, and nobody's even shown a picture of it flying over the place in the first place. All right, so this is all still speculation as to whether or not it even went over Japan. So, I mean, you know, you're going from, you know, speculation to, you know, to expansion, to extrapolation, and then saying, well, you know, and then also making it kind of redundant because it's only, you know, if you, I mean, start a wildfire, yeah, you would have responsibilities, but they wouldn't be about your neighbor. They'd probably go back to the state.
Well,
Hey,
see,
Kevin.
that's just the
Oh,
thing
sorry,
is,
Betty. I got to say something out of the chat real quick. The Freighter Watcher said, tell Cabbage Bastard, screw you, ignore me, you narcissistic prick.
Oh, DeFreighter, come on in. I wish DeFreighter was here. I love that lady. She's lovely.
I get where Cabbage is coming from, because the thing is with North Korea is that one of the things they're very good at is playing tricks on people. They're very well at fucking with people.
Yeah.
So they could say one thing and then another thing happens. Like North Korea has always said, we're gonna bomb the states, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and nothing happens.
Yeah, calling the bluff, constantly calling bluff. You know,
Right.
It's like, you know, the child that, you know, the child that cries wolf. But that's what the American government's been doing, and the British government, and most of the Western governments have been doing. That's how we ended up with Iraq and Afghanistan, right? The boy that cries wolf.
You guys still there?
I'm still here. I'm
Oh,
wondering
yeah.
what happened to everybody else.
Yeah,
I just said the boy that cries wolf. But no, I just popped up the chat there so I could see DeFreighter. I didn't realize she was in the chat. I'm sorry, DeFreighter. I was not intending to ignore you.
No, I said be right back in the side chat. I was hoping you guys would keep it going. I was supposed to be working for a guy for some extra money, so I had to call him back. But where were you guys? The boy that cried wolf? What? Because of all these missile tests? I mean, sooner or later.
Well, yeah, but no, it's the American government, right? The boy that cries wolf. I mean, like this one is another one. Oh, they're doing this, and even though they may be doing what they're doing, they're exaggerating something. You know, it's like rather than the boy that cried wolf, it's like the boy that cried dog. You know what I mean? So they just keep on saying dog, 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 dog. And so it's like, well, okay, it's a dog, so who really gives a shit, right? But they're now claiming wolf. You know, like this missile went over the. That's the whole point. If they actually pointed out what it really was, then they wouldn't get this kind of panic. And why does anyone need any panic? Like you said, the Japanese people were getting text messages telling them to, you know, incoming missiles. I mean, it's fucking retarded.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seems totally mental.
If you remember the story of the boy who cried wolf, sooner or later the wolf showed up, man.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point, and that's what worries me, because this is what I was saying earlier on: is that the tests that are going on are clearly to make sure that they can deliver something. At the moment, all of the missiles that are being fired, none of them have a warhead on them, right? Nobody wastes warheads on dummy missiles. You use like concrete, or you use a false, a fake missile, like a warhead on the top of it, like a concrete thing or something, to test the missile, right? Something of the same weight, so that you can test the aerodynamics and the stability and the gyroscopes and everything else that goes into the missile. So none of these missiles, I mean, they're all duds basically, right? They're test missiles. And yes, they are testing them, and they're testing, but why are they testing them? They're testing them because they want to become part of the club that doesn't get fucked, in the same way as I said before about Pakistan, right? The ones that don't get fucked. Now, the minute that North Korea has fully functional nuclear weapons that can be delivered in any kind of format. I mean, I don't mean any kind of format, like every format. I mean, if they can actually could launch them from a submarine, that would be enough to basically give pause for thought. Now, don't forget, at the moment, they only have, I think, what was it, 18 warheads that they could potentially launch. So they got 18. Well, America can obliterate the whole of North Korea with 6 of their. Oh, look who it is! You sexy bitch.
Hey, Cabby.
Hello, you. You sexy bitch.
What's up,
you.
guys?
We're talking about Korea.
Yeah, I know.
Or we could be talking Japanese.
Well, Cabbage, though, I mean, in all seriousness, even one nuclear missile that close to their shores is cause for concern for the only country in the world who has been hit by an atomic bomb.
Yes, but that's what I mean. At the end of the day, what potential value is there? Look, North Korea is not trying to be a threat to anybody else. What it's trying to do is prevent anybody else from being a threat to it. That's what nuclear weapons are all about. That's the whole concept about mutually assured destruction. That's why Britain and Russia and and America and all the countries that have them, the one thing they all have in common is nobody's going to fuck with them. And that's all North Korea is actually trying to achieve. Sorry.
So who's North Korea afraid of? Who's North Korea afraid of? More afraid of? China, Japan, the U.S. Who?
I would think probably, well, certainly China. Well, the closest connections, I would have thought, anywhere on their borders is going to be the problem. The thing that they're most concerned about. They're certainly not worried about America. I mean, in terms of their own internal security or whatever.
Just in regards to trade and money.
Yeah, but they don't trade. That's the thing. They're totally insular country. They do very little. I mean, that's why they're so backwards. Except, well, they're backwards, but they got nuclear weapons. But then so's Pakistan. Yeah, logic kind of flies out the window in certain situations.
I guess I was kind of inferring to the context of maybe like our ability to interfere with their trade with other nations by our clout or whatever you want to call it with the UN. In like regarding like what was going on with the coal shipments being halted. What was that, 2 months ago? That would be where they would be afraid of us, as far as us interfering in that.
Oh, I see what you mean in terms of, but that would be, yeah, but that's not a direct invasion, is it? That's not that's not a military threat. That's, resource.
No, but
threat.
their bluster on the world stage is all they've got to be heard. Otherwise, they're disregarded as, those crazy people again.
Yeah, but they've seen that anyway. Even if there's anything else,
they're
still seen in that way anyway. So they really don't have much else to be perceived as. Kim Jong-un, come on, that haircut, nobody's going to take it seriously.
I just throwing that out there because I don't really pay too much attention to North Korea, other than every time they pop up in the news, it's like, okay, what are they doing now?
Yeah, but I mean, China has been able to control them, true. But here lately, now they're going against China even.
Exactly. Well, China and North Korea, there's no love lost between the two of those.
But doesn't anybody think that China looks at them as like a petulant child that they allow to have their temper tantrums because it serves China's purposes? But when push came to shove, China would put the hammer down on them?
Oh, you mean like Britain and America?
How'd that turn out for you?
Pretty well, actually. We got ourselves a sugar daddy. Sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying, I really hope you meant that Great Britain was the petulant child.
No,
we just let you around after Brexit and all that. You're like, oh, silly Brits.
You can't let us have our Brexit. It's one of the things we do have to fight for, sadly. It should never be necessary, but yes.
You know what?
We have to do it.
Let's switch that way a little bit. How's that going over there, man? Are they stalling still?
Going like shit. It's going exactly the way I said it would. That they are delaying it as far as they can. They're now talking about 2017. You've got the soft Brexit, which I said would be the way they want it to go. They want to undermine the democratic process, and that's precisely what's happening. Yeah, sadly, they're going to fuck it up, and we are going to become part of the Napoleonic system instead of the, what we created, the common law system. We're going to be absorbed. Yes.
Well, I was wondering, are they still haggling over like I don't know what I've seen it referred to as like your exit fees to get out of the EU? Is that still an issue?
Was it? No. Well, yeah, technically, it's one of those things. It's one of those ridiculous things that they can't quantify. So they just keep throwing numbers around, and nobody really knows what the fuck it is. Because they actually, technically, they owe us money. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you work it out, actually, pound for pound, you know how much we put in, how much we got out, and the investment and the asset values. Yeah, they actually, turns out they owe us money. So weirdly enough, they should be paying us to leave. Which actually really rather more funny of it. It's it's all very odd. I mean, when it comes down to that bit, it's really sort of like people just, it's like, this is the point. It's like with a divorce where you're bitching about who bought one particular CD. You know what I mean? Well, I bought this CD. Yeah, but I bought that album. But I bought this DVD. Yeah, but I bought that, and it's really getting pissy. At the end of the day, it should just be enough to say, look, let's just go our separate ways. And if you want shit, take it. You don't, we'll just fuck it. We're moving. The biggest problem with the Brexit thing is the laws that we're having to adopt.
Cabbage,
in regards to what?
Who gets to keep the dog, though? Does Britain keep the dog, or does the EU?
No, Britain gets to keep its lion if it fucking leaves.
So it's basically like you're paying a lawyer $8,000 to fight over a $500 TV.
Yep, basically. Exactly, and not broken.
All right, Mad Dodge, you got dead air.
Yeah, in the chat, Sayomi, I hope I said that right, said North Korea does have a big mine of precious minerals that China is looking at. Well, China could probably get at that either way already, right? I mean, it kind of just bullies North Korea around, tells them what to do, keeps them on a leash, They probably already have Chinese mining companies there, I would bet. Nothing on that.
Well, China
this is totally out of my realm of knowledge.
China and North Korea are not friends. I mean, they're really not. Then again, weirdly enough, China and Russia aren't really particularly good friends. So, weird situation in that region, and China has been showing positive, messages to the West. Say, let's involve, they are putting out feelers.
Hello.
Hi, yeah, no, and I wasn't saying anything bad. I was just saying I think China is probably already there and mining those minerals.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing with mining minerals is that you have to do it every so often or it destroys the agriculture.
Sorry, what destroys the agriculture?
The mining for the precious metals. If it happens to be like an agricultural area.
Yeah, but North Korea doesn't really
destroy
that. They're already starving their own country. They don't even care about feeding their own people. As long as the generals and upper echelon of their whatever they call their party is well fed. They can care less about anybody else.
They have a disposable population.
Yeah, but Si, are you talking? Yeah, but Si, are you talking about the pollution that goes along with the exploitation of the resources?
Yes.
So the pollution, right? Okay, so non-regulated, so
Yeah.
they don't, take away their waste. You know, and yeah, you can get a lot of shit that goes along with it. But then again, the Canadians did it for America. I mean, look at the tar sands, and that's a civilized country apparently.
Yeah. Well, it's very not cost effective whenever you're doing it in your own country. Like if you're agricultural, like America, for instance, we basically handed that job to China to do all of the mining because doing it on our own country, it was too much cost. It would cost too much to do the cleanup of what the damage would cause.
Oh so yeah, there's definitely that. Well, then again, usually what you get when it happens like that, like you have the fracking industry, where the pollution, like all of the carcinogens that end up getting pumped into rivers or go into the groundwater from, leaking reserve tanks and things like that, that all gets put on the state, right? But it's federally managed. So the companies declare themselves bankrupt, walk away from the responsibility, and then the state ends up doing the cleanup.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's
the thing is, the cleanup
is same thing with the in Canada with the tar sands. The people are being look at some of the rivers in Canada which are totally contaminated, and it's all because it wasn't for Canadian-owned consumption. Canada's got plenty of fuel. It's it didn't need to use the tar sands. It's doing it purely so it can export it to America. So their rivers are actually polluted in that region because of not the requirement of Canada, but the requirement of America.
But Cabbage, then you also get into situations where you have the complicity of the government. Like, for example, with Enbridge, where I live in Michigan, where we've had pipeline leaks where have decimated rivers. And they didn't file bankruptcy. They're still operating their pipelines, fully functioning in this state, and gotten federal relief funding to do the cleanup.
Yes, but are they doing reparations? Is the company doing reparations? Because why should the federal government pay for the company?
No, the company is not.
There you go. So this is the problem. That's where the problem lies.
But the company is still functioning, doing business. They haven't filed bankruptcy to avoid lawsuit.
Yeah, but that's very rare because they managed to get the federal government to basically say, we're going to let you do this shit, which is totally unacceptable, right? I mean, I think that's totally unacceptable.
The local and state authorities are complicit with them, and they won't charge them for the damages. They're going to the federal government asking for relief for this natural, quote unquote, natural disaster that happened.
Yeah,
that's what they called it. I'm serious, Cabbage.
Holy shit, that's mind blowing. A natural disaster. It just percolates.
But they don't talk about it.
Well, no, of course you wouldn't talk about something like that, would you? It'd be like,
like they don't talk about
like
the same company. The same company still operates a pipeline underneath the Mackinac Bridge through the Straits, which would, if it had any damage happen to it, would contaminate, 70% of the fresh water supply of our country?
The groundwater.
Think about that.
Yeah, but the groundwater, it'd be your aquifers. Your aquifers would be contaminated.
But my point is, they're still allowed to conduct business unimpugned.
Responsibility to federal.
They're still allowed to conduct business unimpugned, and when they make a mistake or something happens, the federal government steps in and takes care of the mess.
Yeah,
subsidizing their profits.
Supporting it. Yeah, and I'm not supporting it, but the point is that's the point where the state basically subordinated itself. It deferred its responsibility up to Fed. So it said basically the Federal Reserve, the federal system is going to bail us out, And so we don't have to take personal responsibility. It's like the child saying, I didn't do nothing. And so, you know, mummy and daddy come in and clean up after them.
Exactly.
It's despicable. Yeah, it's absolutely despicable. So I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I'm surprised that anyone let that happen. But I guess because that's all they have, right? I mean, I presume that the state that happened in, that's pretty much the majority of, you know, the federal, you know, the state income. And so they needed federal subsidy. So they were willing to let the rest of the country subsidize that fuck up. You know, they didn't want to take responsibility.
Well, this happens all around the country.
Oh, but hey.
It happens all around the country. This is just one big glaring example.
Yeah. Yeah, but it happens with the fracking. You have the same thing with the water as well. You know, where water companies go in and you end up with wells drying up because a corporation goes in and just starts declaring that they own the water supplies and stuff like that. I mean, there's plenty of examples where, you know, but in this one where the federal government stepped in and basically said, well, we're going to take responsibility. You know, we'll take ownership of the problem. I think it's an absolute fucking disgrace, because that's basically the state forfeiting any kind of authority.
So I'll get real political for a minute. It happened under
Please.
Obama. Obama did this, not Trump.
Yeah, but
Obama.
Obama wasn't the head of, yeah, but the state, it's the state that made the decision to go to the federal government. Who was in charge?
He approved the federal funds. He approved the federal funding.
Yeah, but who went back saying, Pappy, can you come and help me? Who said, Obama, can you come and bail me out, right? So somebody, there had to be state that went to the government that said, so who's the fucker who actually, yeah, go for it.
Debbie Stabenow, Democrat, Hillary's little friend.
There you go. See? Now that makes what you see, now that's the person you should be worried about. Not about Obama, because it wasn't Obama who was, you know, making, I mean, Obama may have approved it, but who was the spineless cunt who made the request?
There you go. It's all in the chain of friends.
There you go. See, you got to follow it.
You wash my hand, I'll wash yours.
Yeah, these are like butt beads.
Exactly.
Well, since you guys are talking about the environment, what about Houston? Did you guys see the pictures of that old folks home where they're sitting?
Oh my God.
Oh, this is new. What's this? Old folks home?
Has anybody ever lived in Texas?
Yeah, I have, you know, but only for a short period, about, you know, 4 months.
I was in Dallas for 8 years, and I'll tell you what it's like down there when they get heavy rains like that. It's not like soil like we're used to here in the Midwest or Mad Dodge here on the West Coast. It's clay. So what the clay doesn't absorb the water.
Oh, it's
so the
mud.
the water just sits on top of the clay, and what you have is this brown orange goo that just oozes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you a story about
It's horrible.
You get the same thing in Mississippi, and it's a red mud. You know, because it's got, I don't know, a particular composite or something in it. And I got stopped by a fucking, Roscoe P. Coltrane or whatever. You know, fucking ridiculous sheriff arsehole when I was traveling across, and he pulled all my shit out, and it was like ended up in the mud, and I had to walk around with pink fucking clothes on because of the mud that was in it, and it's pure clay. And if you go off the road, you ain't getting out. You've got to be towed. There is no way that you know the wheels are spinning. It's horrible. When you get one of those torrential downpours, you're fucked. If you happen to be off road, or like I said, you know, some ridiculous fucking sheriff decides to throw your shit into the, you know, on the floor. And yeah, I know what you mean. I know the kind of mud that you're talking about, and it's hideous.
It's like when you do pottery and you have water and the runoff from the clay. It's just it's like a slimy water.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets on the roads, and you can't drive on the roads because the roads are just like a skating rink.
It is. Yeah, like, and the thing is, it's like that stuff that you used to, you know, if you want to join the clay to each other, it's sliming. That's what it's like. I ended up, walking around for a week in Texas and in pink clothes because most of the stuff I had was meant to be white. Not a good color to be in Texas.
Just imagine.
Not good.
Oh, the Cowboys probably had fun with you.
Oh yeah, add in his accent.
The weird thing is, the English accent seemed to excuse it. I don't know why.
Real men don't wear pink.
No, I'm English. Don't need to worry about it. I'm multicultural.
No, but back to
Yeah, the thing is, at least the thing was, I could have a laugh at myself, and then it actually worked out weirdly enough as a conversation starter.
I was watching Sticks and Hammers 666, his video about Houston, and I guess the fire ants are making like rafts, linking up. And then so if you're like paddling your boat through and you run into these fire ants, they'll swarm up on your boat and shit.
Somebody was reporting that they were the size of like baseballs, and what they do is they cluster, and the dead one, the live ones, float on the dead ones' bodies. So they float around, and some of them are reporting the size of them are like a basketball, and those things are nasty.
Oh, fuck your day up, that's for sure.
Yeah, my mom is allergic. Like, I was born in Shreveport, so she grew up down south her whole life until we moved to the West Coast when I was like 2 years old. So she knows all about water moccasins and fire ants, all that shit. And I guess she's definitely allergic to fire ants. So if somebody that's allergic runs into one of these clusters, they're dead.
Yeah, but the thing is, doesn't this just remind you of the days when they were going on about the bees, like weaponized bees or whatever they are? You remember a few years ago about South America up into North America, and everyone was panicking about the fact that there were these. Are they? I think they're African bees. Yeah, the African bees, right? Yeah, and people were panicking about that. I mean, things migrate at different times depending on climate. I mean, that shit. So you just got to adapt to it. That's why humans exist, is because we're adaptable. Get used to it. Shit changes and things happen.
Yeah, okay.
Are you really afraid of a fire ant?
Cabbage. I'll agree with you about adapting, but I saw pictures in Houston where sharks are swimming down the freeway. I'm not adapting to that, dude.
I saw one in a tornado.
No
once.
freeway sharks, all right? That's not cool.
Mad Dodge, they were showing on, it was like a weather satellite picture of like before and after, and there's part of the coastline that has become a bay that used to be land.
Yeah, that's how the sharks are getting in, man. They're going to eat everybody. Up.
I'd be more worried about the jellyfish.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, DeFreitas, were there any sharks in that recent hurricane that, in Texas?
Only on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, damn it.
Sharknado. Oh, nobody got my joke. I'm so lame.
No, I got you. No, that was the joke I was laying up for you. That's the whole.
You were setting me up. Okay.
With the sharks in the yeah. I was giving you a chance for a punchline.
You don't know about the Sci-Fi Channel?
Oh yeah.
They do all those stupid Sharknado movies and all that.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
That was the reason for laying you up for the joke. Fine. Jokes never work when they have to be explained, do they?
See, it's too close to my bedtime. Over my head. Sorry, Cabbage.
You know what is good off of Sci-Fi Channel?
Oh.
I really like that show. It's a good show.
What show?
The Expanse. on Sci-Fi Channel?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, it's
I don't
like
I don't watch a lot of TV though.
What explain?
there's 3 different factions: the Martians,
I don't
the
watch anything.
Earth, and the Belters, and it's like Game of Thrones in space without all the dragons and the sex. So it is on
I'll
Sci-Fi
check it out.
Channel.
Oh God, where's the fun in that?
Well, it is sci-fi.
You
Not
take the sex and the dragons out. What the fuck? I mean,
I don't know, Cabbage. If you
Cabbage
watch
just-
that last
even
episode,
Captain Canal had sex.
that Jon Snow and Dany thing was kind of awkward. He stared at her for like 45 seconds in the
Which
middle.
one?
Kind of weird.
I haven't watched. No, I haven't watched any of the Game of Thrones stuff. I know people are really engaged with it, but I gave up after about the 4th series. Just got bored.
But no, also in Houston,
Yeah,
also though in Houston, the Cajun Navy was out there rescuing people, and some I don't know if they were gang members or just desperate people, but they were shooting at them trying to steal their boats. That happened today.
I saw the pictures of now the picture I saw, they called it the Cajun Armada. But I saw where they showed up with pontoon boats and flat bottoms, and they were trying to rescue people from their houses. I didn't see anything about shooting.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter a news story talking about people were trying to commandeer like 2 or 3 different boats, and the Cajun Navy, as they call themselves, pulled out and went back to Louisiana. Like they just straight up left. They're like, we're not going to get in a gunfight over this. We're trying to help you people. So,
Wow.
this is what Cajun talking about America here.
talking about Houston, Texas. Yeah, it's a group. They're kind of like a militia, but they just help people during hurricanes and flooding. They call themselves the Cajun Navy or the Cajun Armada or whatever.
Oh right, okay, but they're not actually a navy. Sorry, I was trying to work out where the navy part came in.
No, they're a bunch of good old boys with airboats and freaking pontoon boats, man. They just go out there and help people.
Cabbage, like the Brits, like the Brits did in World War II, where they had the Armada, where everybody.
Dunkirk. Yeah, Dunkirk.
Right, there you go. Well, they show up when there's a disaster.
No, I got it.
They're by the people. These people, you know, they're more boaters than anything else.
Weren't they the ones who were there at New Orleans? Where, you know, they're like the first responders.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah, I get you. Okay, I was just trying to get a reference. I had no, I was trying to tag it in. So, sorry. What have they been doing? And what have they been accused of something?
No, they were saving people, and a group of armed people tried to take 2 or 3 boats. They were firing AR-15s.
Oh, right.
Wow.
There you go. People becoming pirates. It's like the new Somalis.
Well, you saw stuff like that
Somali
happen
pirates taking the boats.
During Katrina. There was a lot of looting and a lot of that stuff happening.
I was saying, you know, like you got good people trying to do something. They kill the good people, and they take the boats, and then turn into pirates. Right? That's how you do it. Never mind. It was a joke.
I guess
it was a bad joke.
But I guess the biggest controversy is the scandal about the mayor not wanting to issue an evacuation order when the governor was urging him to do so. And then when the hurricane hit the fan, so to speak, the mayor of Houston was nowhere to be found. Mad Dodge, have you heard anything about that?
The same thing has happened in New Orleans. Isn't that like that happened in New Orleans? They show it to be found when the requirement, because I believe that if you need federal engagement, you need to, it's like vampires, right? You have to invite federal support, and the sheriff has to make them. Having said that, with the governor can override the mayor, can't he? So he could have said, "Fuck it, well, he's here, fuck it, just do it." I mean, technically, it's not the governor. do it anyway?
I do believe the governor issued an evacuation warning. I believe the Democrat mayor of Houston came out. Maybe he's not a Democrat. I think he is, but I may be wrong.
He is a Democrat.
But I believe he came out and said, you know what, just buckle down, guys. We can make it through it. And they listened to their local government because Americans tend to do that.
Mad Dodge, the
Yeah, but
governor
the
of the
thing is,
state.
right, in that situation, wouldn't the governor be able to override the mayor? I mean, isn't that the point of
The
having a
governor
governor?
the governor issues the order for.
Oh, she must have accidentally dropped out because she was in the middle of talking.
Yeah, we lost her.
No, DeFreitas will be back. What are you doing? Si, your mind to be fiddling with shit constantly.
Am I?
Yeah, we just
What
keep
noise?
hearing things banging and clashing, and I don't know, it's like metal or something. Things
I'm not doing
smacking
anything.
around. Yeah. So,
Okay,
anyway,
cool.
DeFreitas, where were you?
Trying to. My back.
Hello, darling. Hello,
My
darling.
back.
Yeah.
You are back, darling.
Is that my avatar? Oh, my little thing says you. What the heck? I don't know. I just got this.
We see your. By the way, you would make a very good 1950s tattoo.
That's 1990s mall hair, darling.
I'm saying a 1950s sort of like tattoo, you know, like the sailors used to have, you know, the
pinup girl.
Oh, a Betty Grable.
Yeah, the
Betty Grable pinup. There you
yeah,
go.
those sort of things.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, diggable, very diggable, groovy, baby. I'm digging it.
Oh no, God, you're going off the powers on me.
Yeah, now I had a vision of a cabbage.
Sorry, where were you?
Groovy.
I'm a groovy cabbage.
But yeah, we were talking about the mayor overriding kind of.
I'm going to do one of those. Sorry for interrupting. Sorry, I just had an idea. Sorry, go ahead, Matt. Well, what was your thoughts?
Oh no, I was waiting.
What were you about to say?
I was waiting for her to finish her thoughts because she dropped out mid sentence.
Yes, she did.
Where what?
Yes.
Okay.
Commit.
The governor of the state of Texas is a Republican. The mayor of the city of Houston is a Democrat. The governor issued an evacuation order. The mayor should execute the order by the governor, but the mayor chose to say, nah, we're just going to wait a while. And that is in the mayor's prerogative because there's really no... The governor can issue the order, but he doesn't really have the authority to like enforce it. You can't force people to leave their homes. Do you understand? I mean, I'm trying grappling for the words.
Isn't that what happened with New Orleans, where they forced people to, you know, leave their homes and everything else, where it was like, and then they tried to, and then they stopped them from leaving, and it all went tits up. And I thought the governor, even if he couldn't override the mayor, he certainly has the right over the militia, doesn't he? Or the, you know, the local, you know, like we call them territorial army. What's the American equivalent of that? You know, your reserves.
The mayor has jurisdiction over the police force. That's about it. But if he comes out and goes, hey, you guys, I don't think we need to leave, in a city of what? How big is Houston?
3.5 million.
Yeah.
Well, in the Houston proper, I think there's 3.5 million people. But when you include the surrounding suburbs, you're talking like, oh gosh, close to like 5 million.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like the metropolitan area.
That's what I mean. It's like, it's so ridiculous because it's a perfect time for a governor to make his name for himself, right? I mean, in a disaster, and a mayor is failing to defend, protect his people. That's the time when a governor really makes his name. You step up and you mobilize resources, right? And then,
but only when you
people respect that.
only
And that's
after
state-based, not federal. You fix
but
it.
Cabbage, only after you've declared a natural disaster and only after you've called out the National Guard, then the governor has the right to impose what would be essentially a martial law, where you got to do what the governor has ordered.
Yeah, but the mayor doesn't declare a natural disaster. I don't believe mayors that have that power, do they? Who declares natural disaster? No, I mean a governor.
What?
I mean that's the whole point. It's the state level, right? So if the mayor's being
The state petitions.
yeah, but if the
state
state is being
petitions.
ineffectual, then the governor of the state can surely arbitrate on action. And it doesn't require federal intervention. I mean, that's the whole point, right? If the state intervenes first and makes it viable, then you don't need any federal intervention.
The state can't intervene until they petition the federal government for natural disaster relief, and when they're granted the relief, then the state is in charge of the relief efforts.
Oh shit! So you got to go back to daddy before you can even do that. I didn't know that.
See?
That's weird.
No, but the governor can bring the National Guard into play immediately and issue a formal evacuation, I believe.
On the state level, yes.
Yeah, so he could have did that, but he didn't. So it's kind of both of them, really. But the mayor was dumb.
Because Trump immediately issued the federal relief order as soon as the hurricane hit. So there wasn't that lag where you had to have the state authorities step in and then wait for the federal relief to be granted. Trump granted the federal relief immediately.
That is a very good...
Yeah, so all they had to do is really just act on it, and mayor chose not to.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous. I thought we learned our lessons after Katrina. You know what I mean? But no, we didn't. The levees aren't rebuilt better. They're just as crappy as they were then.
New Orleans, I'll never go back there. They cobbled that shit back together. You guys don't even know the engineering. I don't even want to go down that road.
No, please. I'd love to hear about it, because I do say I've always wondered what crazy shit happened. I mean, we knew about the the French Quarter being basically all of those nice townhouses being developed. Like all the people being thrown out and that being converted and stuff. There's loads of odd things that happened in New Orleans. I'd love to hear.
I don't know too much about the city proper, but the engineering on the levees was done. The rebuilding on the levees could have been done better, but of course it was cheaper to just do it, the cheap way. So that
disaster, only because they wouldn't build
reoccurring
a couple of feet higher. That's all it was.
But that disaster reoccurring can happen because they didn't rebuild the levees bigger, stronger.
Yeah, well, of course it will. Because if water goes higher than a certain level, it's gonna swamp you. I mean, it's a simple fact, right?
Well,
I mean, look, New Orleans, parts of New Orleans are below sea level. What do you expect? If you're below, it's like saying Amsterdam, right? If you look at Amsterdam, if say a meteorite hit, I mean, even a small one hit in the the Atlantic near say the south of England or off the coast of Africa or something, the majority of the Netherlands would disappear. That's just a fact. Most of it is underwater.
Don't say that.
A large portion of their country is built on reclaimed land.
My hinterland.
It's just a fact. if you build your country underwater, what do you expect? Well, under the water level, and what do you expect? Shit will happen. It's like, I mean, hell, what's the story of the boy, with his finger in the dike? And that wasn't anything to do with lesbian or fucking transgender bullshit. You know what I mean? That wasn't a metaphor.
I just got that.
No, but my question really is, if the Romans could build aqueducts, the pyramids could be built by Egypt, the Great Wall of China, why can't we build a levee a little bit taller? What's going on here?
Well, you can, but do you have the monetary and the monetary impetus to do it? Of course, you could.
Well,
The will to commit the resources.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get.
You can make. I mean, hell, if you can build a wall between Mexico and America, you can certainly build a fucking a levee.
I've been trying to get on here all night. We don't have that much left, but if we pulled all the troops back out of all our foreign bases, we could totally afford to build gigantic levees around New Orleans.
No, you see, now there's bullshit. You see, now here's bullshit economics. I'm sorry, but you see, Prod, you've really fallen into the backstop of bullshit. How would you pulling troops out of somewhere change anything? Because you're still paying for those troops to be.
No, we wouldn't be because they don't.
No, you would, because they're still going to be no, because they're still troops.
You'll
still be paying for them. You're still going to be housing them. Well, unless are you saying that you don't stop loss them? What? You're just dumping soldiers. You're making them redundant.
Disband.
Cabbage, let him talk.
We're done We're done with the foreign intervention. We're done. Bring them home. Disband them. Put them in the guard. That's And if we go to war, we pull them back out.
Fine. So you're basically saying you've got to make the soldiers redundant, but you can't do that unless they've actually served their terms, right?
I'm saying, why pay for a bunch of troops sitting in Germany, banging hookers and smoking hash?
Well, I agree.
Why pay for that? Bring them home and
yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It'd be much cheaper for me to fly to America. Fly to Germany. I can do that on your behalf. No problem at all. I'll even go with an American flag.
Yeah, no, dude. I have a friend.
I'll bang hookers on America's behalf.
He was an MP in the army, and they didn't have R&R in Germany. All right, they had H&H, hookers and hash. That was their pastime, and he was a military police.
I thought it was hookers and heroin.
Oh, is it?
He didn't do heroin. He liked hash.
Hookers, heroin, and hash. So it's Triple H. You see, that's when you're hardcore. That's the hardcore crew. Hookers, heroin, and hash. When you see that tattooed, the 3 H's on somebody's arm, you know that they're hardcore.
But I mean, we don't have to remove troops from strategic places. But Germany's not really strategic anymore. Pull them home. Bring them home. That's
no, seriously, no, don't do that. Seriously, bring them over here. Honestly, I mean, if you're going to withdraw over here, because we don't want to have to call you over again when all this shit kicks off in Europe, because it will do eventually. We know it will.
You just want us.
Matt Dodge, Germany is like on the verge of exploding into a total shit show.
Yeah. Isn't that a better reason?
Honestly,
like before they blow up, let them handle their own shit.
Okay. Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole point, right? If you're going to have to respond, better to have a platform.
I hate to be a heartless American, dude. I hate to be a heartless American, but Germany's not my problem. It's yours, dog. Handle it.
Well, the thing.
Why is it my problem? How is it my problem more than it's yours? No, look. I mean, have you ever heard of the concept of allies? Right? When you have an ally, you defend them. Now, excuse me, who are the fucking people who came to your side when you wanted some fucking favors and you wanted somebody else to do it? This is the problem with America, right? You're our friend until you become, like inconvenient. Right? No, try and have some fucking principles for a change. Right?
If Germany attacks
fuck you sideways and upside down on that basis.
Oh, come on, Cabbage.
No, seriously. I can't abide that bullshit.
No, you know what I mean.
We're the only ones who actually stand up for anything, and then it's like, oh well, the British, and it's like, oh, we achieved something once, and then we don't have to do anything afterwards. Fuck you. You want to be the world leader?
I don't remember.
You want to be the world? Yeah, we are. We can fuck shit up too.
Do you think Germany wants us there, though?
Guys, let her talk.
Okay, well, think of this. If Germany turns into an entire shit show, and if it's a nuclear power, then it is going to be our problem because it's going to be national security.
Germany doesn't have any nuclear weapons. It was denied them. That's one of the major things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the problem is that Germany has taken over.
It's going to become a problem for us.
No, Germany has turned into a problem because it's created the European Union, and France has nuclear weapons. France does.
Oh, well, there you go. And France is not in good shape either.
Exactly, and that's the reason that Britain, wanted nuclear weapons was not because of Russia or America or Russia. It wasn't about those. It was because France had them. Right, it's right over our shores. So we had to have nuclear weapons because they had them. That's the reason Britain has a nuclear deterrent. It's not nothing to do with Russia or America or China or anything else. It's because France has got them. And if you got France and you got Germany and the whole European Union, if the European Union becomes totally integrated, then Germany effectively gets access and utilization of the French nuclear weapons. Think about it. It's scary. It's not a good prospect.
Become a huge national security problem for the United States.
Well, for the fucking UK too, thank you very much, because we're only 20 odd miles away from France.
And what many people fail to realize is that taking an isolationist stance is not an option for the United States anymore.
No, you created globalization. Fucking live with the consequences.
Let me respond to that, please. Just because I don't go into my neighbor's yard and break his window doesn't mean I'm a hermit, okay? So just because I don't want to fight wars in everybody's countries doesn't mean I'm isolationist. I want free trade.
Yeah, well, you want free trade, but you don't want any responsibility for it. I mean, it's a difference. It's like the kid that, wants the... Yeah, but the thing is, it's like the kid who wants the... you want your pocket money, but you don't want to do chores.
Cabbage. All right.
Right? That's what it sounds like.
No, let's say internal strife breaks out in Germany. You want the United States to help quell that. Okay. Let's say internal strife breaks out in Mexico. Is there going to be British troops helping us quell that? Because we're talking about a civil strife in independent countries from our own. Why should we be messing with either of them is my first question. And second, are you going to come help us?
Well, yeah. Well, we'll look. Okay, look. Excuse me.
Come help us in our.
What do you mean? Yeah, but you have. I mean, what do you mean? No, that's ridiculous. If you have internal strifes, right? We don't ask you to come and deal with our issues with county inter-shire issues, right? Because don't forget, we are a very small country. We're a little country sitting off the side of Europe, right? Now, Britain bankrupted itself twice, not because it wanted to actually impose anything, right? This empirical bullshit is, that's been laid out. The reason that we fought against the European conquest was not for, it was for our own principles, because we believed in the rule of law and the common, the difference between common law and Napoleonic law and things like that, right? We actually fought. We bankrupted ourselves for, when America goes on about, they're fighting for democracy. That's exactly what Britain fought for twice. And it took 3 years for America to even turn up. So they claim that, you always claim that you have these principles, but you don't fight for them until you get some kind of benefit from it. And the only reason America came into the European conflict was because you'd managed to negotiate yourself a good fucking deal. And that's just historically factual.
Oh,
you
I'm
can't
not
claim
about
otherwise.
When
that's
you're talking about Germany.
So at the end of the day, you'll claim, what is your, I don't understand what your issue is with us. Because we're the ones who are going to be stuck with these crazy fuckers in Europe, which they are. They're demonstrably crazy.
If you let me talk, I'll tell you what I mean. I mean, Germany is not posturing for war with any other country, correct?
No, Germany isn't, but Europe is providing no, that's the whole point. They're not creating they're not creating an external war, but they're creating an internal war at the
That's right. And
which is why you have all of these ridiculous. They're creating all of. Yeah, but the thing is that they're creating the bedrock for it by all of the immigration.
Oh yeah, but
that's how they're doing it. That's how they're creating their next Kristallnacht. The next Kristallnacht won't be about the Jews; it'll be about the Muslims.
Follow me through my thought process here, okay? We're not talking about them posturing for an outside war. We have like 50,000 troops within the country sitting there smoking hash and doing hookers, okay? Add on top of that an internal strife that is brought upon themselves because they are bringing in these refugees. They are creating no-go zones. Why should we be there when shit hits the fan? Kind of like when drug cartels evolves into an all-out war, which it will. Why should you be there when you have nothing in the game?
Fine, but then why should have Britain been there side by side with America when 9/11 happened and we said we're going into Afghanistan with you? Why did we send the SAS into the into the Tora Bora Mountains in order to find people because your people were too fat and lazy to be able to get up there?
Yeah, but Cabbage, that was an external conflict. Do you understand the difference of what I'm talking about here?
Well, yeah, but it was external from us. But that's the whole point. Europe is external from us, right?
Then why should you be there either? Yeah. Let Germany reap what.
Yeah, but that's because it's the whole point about if you have an ally, you support your ally, right? That's the whole point of declaring yourself an ally of the country. When the country becomes in jeopardy, if you have the same principles, right? If you have an alliance, that's the reason you support those people. That's what the fucking alliance, an alliance is about. You don't wait around and decide, is it good for me today? Right? The whole point is, do you have principles or don't you?
Who do you support?
That was the whole...
Within the country that might rise up to kick out the refugees, or do you support the city?
No, it's not. No. That's an internal conflict. We're not talking about an internal conflict. We're talking about if it's a European thing. Like a European one is not like Britain and America have their own alliance, right? Now, America can decide to either apply that alliance or not do it. And if they choose not to do it, then it's kind of like a kick in the teeth and saying, well, we like you, but not that much. That's the way it plays out. You know it does. I don't understand how this even needs to be explained. It's a mind blower that you're asking me the question. It really is. I mean, if you don't think alliances mean anything, then
that's not what I have.
Cabbage. Isn't what you're saying the whole premise of the United Nations?
No, because the United Nations.
We are all in allegiance with each other, and we have each other's back. And when shit goes down with one, all of us are together in supporting our friends, our those we are aligned with, and supposedly we are aligned with. Supposedly we are aligned with Germany.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the thing. The UN is a separate thing. I mean, each individual country has its own treaty agreements, right? And America claims that they have a special, well, you would hope they would have, a special relationship with Britain because history and everything else. Because history. But I mean, what is it worth? I mean, what value is there to it?
Yeah.
I mean, look, we've had 2 world wars, and America has turned up late after it's negotiated its blood money. And so what really is that worth anyway? We know we're going to get left with our fucking dicks in the wind because we can't rely on America to, to help us out. We know that. And we don't expect it, to be honest with you. And if we get fucked over, is that going to help America? No, it's not. And that's the whole point. America should work on its best interest. And if it thinks that it's in America's best interest is that that England gets fucked over, then so be it. That's what's going to happen.
No, but how is pulling troops out of Germany fucking England over?
Well, no, it wouldn't if you reposted them into the UK, because let's face it, we all know that the European Union is destined to go into a fucking shitstorm. I'd rather that all of the NATO bases got got put into the UK. I'd rather the UK government, like we did, we paid to build some bases for American troops, so they, you can put NATO troops over here. I'd rather that if you're going to withdraw, I'd rather you withdrew to America. Yeah, sorry, withdrew to us than to go all the way back to America, because we know damn well that you're never going to come back again until it becomes convenient.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I don't. I think we're going to end up disagreeing on this. I do think we should pull troops back. But like I said at the very beginning of the stream, I wanted it to be a short one. So if you guys want to talk in the after chat, go ahead. I have dinner and stuff to do. It's like 8 o'clock my time. So
hey, Mad Dodge.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. I'm going to bug out. I got to go to bed. Cabbage, everybody, it was nice chatting. Peace.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah. By the way, you need to add me into the Hangout. You know, into your friends.
My Hangouts?
Yeah, you know, because you need to add me as one of your.
Okay, I'll play with my phone and fiddle around with it.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what that means.
I'm like so. How do you say? I don't really give a shit about this shit.
No, me either.
I love chatting with you guys, but as far as like mastering the technology, I'm not interested. I play with it and do what I can and whatever, you know.
Yeah,
so,
but you know, it's just like adding, you know, just add me as a friend. That's all I'm saying. And then,
you mean like on the Google Plus thing?
No, on the Hangouts, you need to kind of, you know,
you go to the Hangouts,
and then
and you're on the list, and I add you as a friend.
Add a contact, yeah.
Okay.
And then it'll send me an invite, and then I can accept.
Like you'll ever do a live stream, Cabbage, right?
Yeah. You never know. Don't challenge me, woman. Don't challenge me.
On the Redeye. Oh, good.
Hey, Mad Dodge. Hey, Mad Dodge, I forgot to say, somebody stole your name. You should call it your next stream. You should call it the Redeye Black Eye.
Nice.
Next time you steal my name, you're gonna have a black eye.
Oh yeah. On that note, good night and good luck. Thank you for watching Mad Dodge Productions.
Good night.